Hey guys, it's Nikki, and this week on the Autistic Feminist, we're going to talk about 7 myths about autism that I'm going to debunk. There have been so many myths about autism that I could potentially make a part 2 for the future episode of this. Some of them don't get on my nerves as much as some just make me wince every time someone says anything about them. So, without further ado, here are 7 myths about autism debunked. Like I said before, there are a lot more. I may make a part 2 of this in the near future, I don't know. Number 7. Autistics do not have empathy. I, along with many other people, have heard this one way too many times. It annoys me every time I hear it, and it has been proven false so many times. But to reiterate what pretty much everyone else has said, it has been proven that autistics have very high empathy. Autistics can actually be compassionate and care deeply about others. And just because many autistics have processing issues and trouble reading nonverbal cues does not mean that they're heartless creatures that don't care about others. Number 6. Autistics do not like socializing. Like the last one, this one is mostly based off of assumptions. Autistics actually do want friends, they just have starting conversations. Because it takes a much bigger effort for autistics to make friends than neurotypicals, they tend to be seen as shy or quiet. And since many have difficulty making small talk, many people tend to assume that they're not interested in what they have to say. Underneath, autistics can be very friendly and loyal with people who understand them. Number 5A. Autistics are savants. Here's a question for all autistics out there. Have you ever told someone that you were autistic and they responded with, "Oh, you mean like Rain Man?" If yes, dump that person's ass because they're not worth your time. Autism is a spectrum disorder, so while many people on the spectrum have above average IQs, the characteristics of autistics vary from person to person. Number 5B. Autistics are intellectually disabled. I put both of these as 2 parts of number 5 because they pretty much fall under the same category. Many people tend to assume that there is no middle ground when it comes to the autism spectrum, and that they're either geniuses or are intellectually disabled, but nothing in between. Like I said before, autism is a spectrum disorder, and while not every autistic is particularly a genius, autism brings just as much exceptional abilities as it does limitations. Many of those on the spectrum tend to excel in a particular area of interest, such as math or science or art or music. Number 4. Autism is a curable disease. It has been proven many times that nobody can catch autism from someone else. Autism is a developmental disability that one is born with and is with them lifelong. There are interventions that help autistics learn skills that they wouldn't otherwise have, but an exact cure is entirely impossible, and autism is here to stay. Number 3. Autism is a mental illness. Like I said with number 4, autism is a developmental disability that affects a person throughout their life. People tend to think that autism is a mental illness because it's listed under the DSM-5 manual, which is the official doctor's handbook for mental illnesses. People also tend to think that autism is a mental illness because many people on the autism spectrum have other mental illnesses they are diagnosed with, and people tend to label them all under the autism spectrum. However, mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and obsessive-compulsive disorder don't necessarily go with autism, and the most you can say is that the stress autism brings put them at greater risks of developing mental illnesses. Number 2. Only boys are on the autism spectrum. Currently, 4 times as many boys are diagnosed with autism as girls, and because of this, many people assume that autism is strictly a boy's disability. And as I said in a previous episode, this is not true. The diagnostic bias is often a result of girls presenting autism differently than boys do, and because of that, doctors tend to miss the symptoms in girls. However, whether or not there would still be more boys on the spectrum than girls if everyone who is currently undiagnosed were diagnosed is still an ongoing question. And number 1, autism is caused by vaccines. This one is still ongoing for some reason, even though so many doctors have debunked this one already. This myth is persisting because of a timing issue, since most parents vaccinate their children when they're 2 years old, and that's the age when symptoms of autism become more visible. But several scientific studies have proven that vaccines do not cause autism, and doctors advise parents to vaccinate their children because mumps, measles, polio, and rubella can be very dangerous. Well, those are my 7 myths about autism debunked. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a like and a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!